If we're gonna stop the crooks, us cops gotta know who they are. That's the rock crusher. No jail can hold him. And here's Berserko, a dangerous street punk.
Meanwhile, at the Crook's hideout.
Look out for Long Arm. He's a tough street cop. Sergeant Mace, the SWAT team leader. And Bulletproof's a federal agent.
Give up, you crooks. You're surrounded by the cops.
Cops and crooks sold separately with caps.
What's up, my ninjas? I'm Strident, and I'm back with another C.O.P.S toy review. This time I am reviewing one of the most iconic characters from the series, and that is none other than Buttons Mc BoomBoom himself. This is an example of an outside-the-box kind of design that does fit into a genre, but somehow it seems timeless. You look at him, you see gangster, you see enforcer, and it's done. Maybe even hitman. And that's it. It's simple. You don't really have to go too far into the design. The suit is stylish, even for something created back in 1988. Yeah, it's magenta, but it doesn't look bad. That's the thing. You know what I mean? You want character. Obviously, this guy was cool. Buttons Mc BoomBoom is a cyborg. And he's like almost entirely cybernetic, robotic, except for a handful of parts. So when he was human, he was probably cool as hell, like probably all about his looks and, you know, the ladies and shit like that, you know. That was one of his strong suits, and his strong suits, no pun intended. But you can still see that with the design of the character. And I mean, he's sleek and he just looks on point. You know what I mean? He like kind of oozes style, which is something you don't see so much in today's designs. You know what I mean? Character designs. I mean, look at that hat, man. It's just his whole style feels so, I don't know. It's like retro, but modern, but, you know, future. It doesn't even make sense. Retro, modern, future. How do you get all these things in one design? But he's a fucking badass. I mean, you ask most people who watch the show, and their favorite villain was Buttons Mc BoomBoom. And then the name, Buttons Mc BoomBoom. I mean, other than a porn star, what other job could you possibly have but be a hitman? As you can see, this is the complete... Actually, I have two complete almost complete ones. This one's complete. The other one doesn't have the hat, but he still has the guns in his chest. This was one of those ideas that I'm surprised we never saw later on in other franchises. A cybernetic hitman with guns in his chest. It's just crazy. And then, of course, if you don't want to rely on the guns in the chest, if you want to just pretend like, you know, this is just a regular hitman, he doesn't need the special guns, he has his little sidekick. And I love the fact that he carries the sidekick, quote unquote, in his guitar case. Because that's something timeless and classic that you've seen in so many, you know, gun-oriented films, so many gangster movies, that it's just like, hey, this works. And say hello to Maud. Or as he would say it, say hello to Maud. This was a cap gun. It worked just the way a lot of the others worked. I think the front had a hammer. The barrel itself was the hammer, so you pull that out, you let it go, and you put the caps in on the side. You'll see the slot in some of the other pictures, and it just fired off. Me, personally, I got tired of the cap thing. As an adult, it's not that special. It just brings back good memories. As a kid, I was like, man, this is the most awesome thing ever, because when you pop those caps, you had smoke filling up your room, which I'm pretty sure these days would be a 1000% no-no. But, I mean, you just look at this gun. It's reminiscent, obviously, of a Tommy gun, but it's like a Tommy gun on freaking Shirk. What the fuck? It's ridiculous. I mean, look at how powerful this thing looks. So if a hit was put out on you, and this guy showed up, you know he's about to bring the pain. It's done. You better have a good exit strategy, because your ass is going to exit to the next life. And that's as simple as it gets. One cool little feature about this character was, in the comics, he made it a point to destroy everything you cared about and let you suffer. He didn't kill directly. And I thought that was an interesting idea because he's so outwardly powerful. I mean, this guy, they kept him in a closet. Big Boss kept him in a closet. And then when the time came to, you know, kill off someone or, you know, make a point, Big Boss would open up the closet, give him his orders, and dude would show up and just wreck shop on everything around that person and let them suffer. I mean, he'd beat them down too, but he'd let them suffer. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of different, you know? It's a little bit more of a character trait to this character as opposed to just letting him be another, you know, psychotic killer or another comedic villain like the TV show had. You know, I just can't stress how much this show needs a revival, and it needs to be serious. You know what I mean? It needs the tone. You could still have comedic elements in there because people are people and there are funny people in this series. But the overall tone needs to be kind of serious. I'm not going to say dark and gritty because that's not what this was. But it needs to be it needs to be darker. It needs to be more adult. You know, people get shot, they die. If it was live action, I want to see meat, squibs flying all over the place with all this blood. Anyway, on the inside of the guitar case, you can see there's a radio. There's an outline for the actual Tommy gun mod, as I like to call it. There's a battery. He is a cyborg who's mostly robotic, so, you know. And I love these little things that, you know, Hasbro used to throw in there so that you know, as a kid, you could let your imagination kind of go nuts, you know. You could also feed I'm sorry, it wasn't for feeding the caps. That was for the little clip. It's not even a clip, but it's like a guide for where you want to line up your caps. And you could actually, that piece stuck out so you could, you know, when you put it into the guitar case, you had an area where that would stick out and it would allow for the guitar case to close. Now, once again, 26-year-old figures and all the parts work. And I just did reviews about DC UC figures or DC collectibles figures, and they fell apart in the review. So, you know, this says something for, you know, the kind of quality we were dealing with back in 1988 that we don't get anymore, you know. And these are O-ring figures. I think he might have came with the original O-ring. So, you know, that says something. But anyway, you could see he looks perfect with the team. I mean, Bart Sears' designs were on point. It's just plain and simple. Everybody had so much fucking character. Every body type was at least a little bit different from the last. I don't have any reused characters. Look at Big Boss's head and then look at Berserko's head. Two different shapes, two different sizes. Their expressions, both of them are smiling, but one's a goofy kind of idiot smile and the other one is kind of a sly, kind of undercover, I'm running shit type, you know, I'm up to something type of smile, you know. It's just, this line is a fucking treasure. I know a lot of people may not have actually had the connection that I have as far as reading this comic, watching the cartoon, and playing with these toys when I was a kid and now doing it again as an adult, but man, seeing it again as an artist, it's just, man. And here's who I would consider his rival, would be the Special Weapons and Tactical Specialist, which is Mace, you know. Next to maybe Bullet, no one else on the on the Crooks team has more weaponry than Buttons Mc BoomBoom. And then on the Cops team, the person with the heaviest weapons, it's him, you know, it's Mace. So, you know, I'm going to pair them off. And here are the Crooks, the majority of the Crooks. I think at the time I was waiting on Bullet. And you can see how everyone looks right. They fit. They don't feel out of place. This toy line is a treasure. That's all I can say. It's a great toy line. Lots of great characters, lots of great designs. And they're pretty well engineered, you know. If you are into old figures, or you just like C.O.P.S, you know what I'm saying? Like, mainly, you just like C.O.P.S. You like this series. You want something quality, something with style and character, then this is a series you need to look into, man, because I'm telling you, it just keeps on giving. There's just so many good characters and designs. So anyway, that's it for me. You guys have been great. Peace outside.